But right now it's star time. Introducing the young man that you chose to be soul brother number one. The star of the show. Introducing the ghost face killer.
Yeah, I'm just raking them out like hotcakes. Right now we are going to be doing simple, very simple wheel adapters. How to put them on, and the type of thread for your studs for lug nuts, if you're using lug nuts or if you're using lug bolts, depending European, depending on JDM. I have already put on, well, basically I took off the rear tires already. One's already installed. Now, being it's European, most of the time what's going to happen is this little lip right here being hub centric, so it's centered by the hub. See the little indentation in here? How this is already part of the hub going onto the adapter, so that keeps it in place and there's no wobble or anything of that nature. Now, being that my vehicle has lug bolts right here, so these are now going into my hub to then now be using studs and then lug nuts and then so forth. So having a European vehicle, you need short head lug bolts with your thread, mine being a 14 by 1.5, to go ahead and tighten down into here, and now using the adapter, mine being a 1 inch, to mount, tighten down, put the rim on, and then the lug nuts on the outside for the same thread, 14 by 1.5. Now, like I said, mind you, your vehicle could be European, it could be JDM. So being a 5 lug, or could be a 6 lug, could be a 4 lug, could have a thread of a 10 by 1.25, a 12 by 1.5, 12 by 1.25, 14 by 1.5, the list goes on. So it's all depending really on your vehicle specs, year, make, model, what have you. So what you would need to do first is basically take off the rim, or rims, depending if you're doing the full vehicle. I will be doing all of them pretty soon, just doing the rear as of right now because they're already on. The front has a 17 mil, which is using lug bolts like this, 17 mil. So this is still using lug bolts in the front, but I will be going to 1 inch in the front, as I'll be widening the fenders in the front as I did in the rear, rolling them. So I wanted to show you what we're doing on this side, being that I just put the adapter on, but I haven't put these on to mount it. So basically, really simple, just in by finger till it gets tight, and then you want to use a torque wrench to torque down to specs of vehicle. Mine, I'm doing at about 110 foot-pounds of torque, and I'm gonna do that to all of these, and then basically from there, they already come with lug nuts, but I'm not using these ones. I'm using a special type one for what I want with this type of rim. So I'm taking those off, putting the other lug nuts on, which are for Porsche. It uses either an open-in or a closed-in type of ballsy type style. A little wide on the bottom, doing black, closed in. So let me grab the mounting lug nuts to put these on. It's really easy, but you have to remember too as well, depending your vehicle, as well as the rim that you are using, if it's OEM, stuff like that. If you want to widen out your stance, or if it's basically hitting like the brake caliper or struts or anything, what have you, depending on the vehicle, if you're using it on a truck, stuff like that, the thickness option. So I'm using a 1 inch because I have my fenders rolled, as you can see. These are tightened down almost by hand spec. Stay. Torque is now set to 110 foot-pounds. And all you're going to be doing, let's see if I can put you down somewhere. Basically just tightening them down. Now I'm going to go back over the torque wrench, tighten them down so you hear that click. And remember, in a star. You want to do it in a star pattern. What I mean by star pattern, if you don't know already, you tighten down to here, go to here, go to here, 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 and then that's basically your star pattern. So this is tightened down to specs, flat with the hub, and then after that, now it's just putting the rim on, putting the lug nuts on, tightening those down, and that's it. Yeah, it's really simple to do. Like I said, just option one, taking your rims off. Then the part two, putting the adapter on. Remember, part two being if you are studs or lug nuts. So if you have studs sticking out, you're just putting it on, tightening it down to the lug nuts that come with it, to the threading of your vehicle. If it's lug bolts, then you need to buy short head lug bolts that are your thread vehicle. So like I said, if it's a 14 1.5 or 12 by 1.5, so on and so on. So you want to do that to your vehicle. So for me, lug bolts, I put it on, take the bolts out that I have for the vehicle already, and I put the short heads in, tighten down like I just did, I showed you guys, and then you put the rim on and then tighten the lug nuts down on the outside. It's the same thing with JDM. If you already have studs, you basically just tighten down the lug nuts back over onto the rim, and then just make sure those are tightened down to specs too with the torque wrench, and then go out for a drive, come back, retighten them down on the outside again. You can always take the rim off and retighten down the wheel adapters as well, and then do the outside again. I tend to really don't do to that second portion, I just do to the outside. I've been doing this for quite some time already with the adapters, spacers and such, so I kind of have an idea how they work. I'm going to put the rims back on and I'll show you basically where they sit after putting the adapters on.
Okay, party people in the